श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम् ॐ सहनावतु सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. So now next dharana, which is evam nimīlyādau netre kṛṣṇābhamagrataḥ prasārya bhairavaṃ rūpaṃ bhāvayaṃstanmayo bhavet. Evameva nimīlyādau netre kṛṣṇābhamagrataḥ prasārya kṛṣṇābham netre kṛṣṇābhamagrataḥ prasārya bhairavaṃ rūpaṃ bhāvayaṃstanmayo bhavet. Evam eva, similarly, why do you have, does he have to say similarly? Because the previous dharana also had the same idea. So similarly, in fact, the previous dharana also started with evameva. There it carried forward the previous idea of previous dharana, which is the object, the light for the object, and the darkness, which is the base for that. Okay, so all this vishvam, all this should be collectively meditated upon. That is what he said in the previous, the one before dharana. Then in the previous dharana, he said, oh, forget about the object and the light. Just concentrate on the darkness. When the darkness when it appears during the new moon night or during the very cloudy night. Okay, that is the darkness which we have to meditate upon. Now that is fine. Now here he says you don't have to, the meaning of this sloka is, this dharana is, you don't have to wait for a Krishna Paksha or anything, no new moon and all. Any day is good enough. Where there is not lot of light, there is not so much of light. So that kind of day you have to choose. Now, although in the beginning you have to keep your eyes shut and focus on the darkness inside the eyes. Then later you have to open your eyes and look at the darkness externally, thinking, meditating that object, that darkness internally and externally is of the nature of bhairava. Bhairava is depicted in black. Bhairava is black in color. Okay, that is why in Kashi, Bhairava is dressed in black clothes, and they have a black robe, kind of. It's a knotted robe which they give for blessings and all. Okay, so anyway, the idea is Bhairava is black in color. So meditating that this black is Bhairava is the important point of the sadhana first. Second is focusing internally. Let us understand this sloka. So, evameva, similarly, the darkness is what is to be meditated upon. Therefore, similarly, nimīlyādau, the difference between the previous dharana and this dharana is, in the previous dharana, you have to keep your eyes open always. You have to see the darkness in front of you. Here, ādau nimīlya, at the beginning, you have to have your eyes shut, closed. Okay. After closing the eyes, kṛṣṇābham drishtva, netre kṛṣṇābham drishtva, you have to supply. So you have to see the Krishna, the dark light. Dark light means the dark color, the darkness. So you can either close your eyes and see, or you can shut your eyes with your hands, not close it, press it. Just keep it close to your eyes. That is okay. But you don't need that. When you close your eyes, even in front of the light, you will see a dark spot. Not the light. You should not focus on the light. You should have to focus on the darkness. Just keep focusing on it for some time. And then agrataḥ. Agrataḥ means after. After what? After keeping your eyes shut, after that prasārya. Netre prasārya. You have to open your eyes. When you open your eyes, even you keep your eyes shut for a long time and you open your eyes after that, immediately you will not be able to see things very clearly, right? So there is this darkness. Focus on that. That is not the idea here. This is a very beautiful sadhana, but it is not for everyone. Okay, you'll understand why. See, I keep my eyes shut and I am like this. I'm focusing on the darkness for a long time, and then I open the eyes. The moment I open the eyes, there is a light in front of me. That light hits me. Immediately, I see light in front of me. I cannot see darkness. Because this is the rule. When the sense objects and the sense organ meet, the knowledge is generated of the sense object. Indriya artha sannikarsham janyam jnanam pratyaksham. That is what logicians say. The sense organ and sense object, when they meet, the knowledge that takes place is direct perception. So, whether you want or you don't want, when you open your eyes, immediately you see the light. I don't have to see I should not see the light. So, what should I do? So, it cannot happen normally because the natural state of the sense organs is to travel outside. So, it cannot naturally happen. So, what to do? I have to control it. How to control it? So, that is the next question. How to control it? I cannot control it. See, there are two ways to not see the object even if it is existing in front of you, which is the normal example which we give is the time you sit in the class. Sometimes you are listening to me and you are looking at the video and all that, or the audio, you are hearing it and suddenly you zone out. What happened? Okay, reverse. So you zone out because your mind went out somewhere. Anyatra mana abhuvam. That is what they say in Sanskrit. Anyatra mana abhuvam. The mind went somewhere. When the mind goes somewhere, wanders somewhere, then even though the object is in front of you, you will not be, even though the sense organ is in association with the object, in contact with the object, you will not be able to grasp the object. So, you should have to let the mind wander. No. Then what is the point of doing sadhana itself? You should not let the mind wander. Then what should I do? I should have to turn the mind inside. If the mind is turned inside, then it doesn't really matter whether my eyes are closed or shut. My eyes are shut or open. Does not really matter. That is why he says, when you turn your mind inside, even though when your eyes are open, you are not seeing the objects. When you don't see the objects, when you don't see the light, you see only the absence of light, which is darkness, which is what is the color of bhairava, which is what is the form of bhairava, nature of bhairava. Therefore, meditate on that, focusing on that. Tanmayo bhavet. Tanmaya means of that nature. Maya here is in the sense of nature. Tanmaya means that nature. You will become the nature of bhairava. Okay, you become bhairava himself. Fine. This is a shambho upaya, though some people want to accept it as shakta upaya because there is a object of meditation in the form of darkness, etc. But still, you have to turn your mind inwards. So it is not easy for a person practicing shakta upaya who has to hold on to something. So it is difficult for him. Even though it is subtle, he has to hold on to something. So this is not a shakta upaya, this is shambho upaya. Okay. Now, next. Yasya kasyendriyasyāpi vyāghātācca nirodhataḥ praviṣṭasyādvaye śūnye tatraivātmā prākaśate. Yasya kasya indriyasya api vyāghātācca nirodhataḥ praviṣṭasyādvaye śūnye tatraivātmā prākaśate. Now here we saw yesterday, śūnye is a word which is used in Devi Kalautra, etc. Tantra for the absolute state. Śūnye is absence, not void. Śūnye is absence of the creation and its cause. Okay, that is what is used. Advaye śūnye. Śūnya is given an adjective of advaya, non-dual, non-dual void. And then he also goes on to say tatraivātmā prakaśate, the self shines. We'll come to that. So in the previous dharanas, we were focusing on the only sense organ, which is the eyes. Okay. So here he goes beyond that. He says, yasya kasyendriyasyāpi. Somewhere it is read yasya, whichever. Okay. So yasya kasyendriya, whatever in sense organ does not really matter. Whichever sense organ does not matter. Which sense organ? That is not the question. Whichever sense organ is the proper way. Yasya kasya is the proper thing. Okay. Reading. So yasya kasyendriyasyāpi, whatever may be the sense organ, does not really matter. What happens to that? Vyāghātācca nirodhataḥ. If the sense organ is affected or it is prevented, obstructed, what does that mean? See, it is affected means in the sense like you sometimes poke your eyes without knowing, accidentally. Okay, that can happen. B, you can twitch your nose or your ears to make a sensation, or there is a boil or something which is irritating. Even that, the sty, etc., even that is useful for this. Okay, vyāghātācca, naturally or artificially created problem, trouble. Vyāghātācca, aghāta means to hit it. So it is affected by artificial or natural means, does not really matter. Vyāghāta is the only question there. Okay. Then nirodhataḥ, when it is obstructed, when it is prevented. This prevention also can be natural or artificial. How? See, you are compulsorily making a point that you will not see the object even though if it is in front of it. You are turning your mind inwards. That is also possible. Or if there is an object in front of you, like there is a laptop in front of me, so the things on the other side of the laptop, I am not able to see. So there is obstruction. I put my hands in front of my eyes or the headphones for my ears, whatever. So I create an obstruction for seeing. So, or naturally there is an obstruction, whichever way. Praviṣṭasyādvaye, when you enter that state of a non-cognition of the sense objects, then advaye śūnye praviṣṭasya, you enter the advaya śūnya, the non-dual state, where there is no cause or effect for the creation. So tatraivātmā, in that very state, ātmā prakáśate, atma, which is sentient, that is why the śūnya cannot be an inert, void thing, like the Buddhist accept. Atma prakáśate, the self shines, because no philosopher who accepts the self accepts it to be inert. No philosophy accepts the self and accept the self as inert. Every philosophy, whichever philosophy accepts self, accepts it as sentient. Okay, so atma prakáśate, śūnya cannot be pure void like the Buddhist accept. That is the thing here. Okay. So here also turning the mind inside inwards is what is the key. So this is a Shakta upaya also, because you have to practice to, it can be Shambha upaya actually, because you are going beyond whatever the sense organs can do. So it can be probably Shambha upaya. Next, abindumavisargaṃ ca ākāraṃ japato mahān udeti devi sahasā jñānaugaḥ parameśvaraḥ. Change it to Shambha upaya. Abindum avisargaṃ ca ākāraṃ japato mahān udeti he devi sahasā jñānaugaḥ parameśvaraḥ. What does he say? Abindum avisargaṃ, there are different kinds of interpretation possible. So I'll just explain it in a simple way. Abindum, bindu is the dot above the letters. In Sanskrit, you write dot above the letter, the im is bindu. Okay. And visarga is the two dots. Aha, Ramaha. That Ramaha, that two dot is visarga. The dot Ram is a bindu. Is bindu. Aha is a visarga. Okay. So not or aha. So we have to just say chant japataha where we have to focus on the simple without any dots. So when you do that, when you focus on that, mahān parameśvaraḥ, devi mahān parameśvaraḥ sahasā jñānaugaḥ parameśvaraḥ udeti. That great absolute parameśvara, bhairava, who is of the nature of flow of knowledge flow, jñānaugati, pravahati iti jñānaugaḥ. So the flow of knowledge. So that or solid knowledge, which is the nature of bhairava. So that manifests. Okay, that is a simple way of understanding. Abindumavisargaṃ. How do you abindumavisargaṃ means okay, without bindu or without visarga, that's okay. Ākāraṃ japato. How do you chant akara? Like the sannyasis need to chant omkara 10,000 times, 20,000 times, something like that. So they'll be moving the lips continuously, and because there is im, you have to touch the lips. The lips, both upper and lower lips should touch, but there is no touching of lips. So should you keep your mouth open or shut? How do you chant? Should you chant it in the mind? So this is where everything becomes a little serious. Akara is why should you chant akara, not ukara or anything. Akaro vaisarvavak. The Shruti says akaro vaisarvavak. From every other character comes into existence, and all the words come into existence from Without there can be no word. Okay. So that is the root, that is the base for everything. So that is why we have to meditate on that root, that base, which is naturally the bhairava. Okay, so meditating on bhairava without anything, that is the idea first. The rest is same for everything. Second is here some people accept it as chakita mudra, ascharya mudra, or bhayanaka mudra. What does that mean? Surprise. That is the posture, mudra, a posture of surprise, a state of surprise, or a state of shock. Okay, or we say awestricken. That is what it is. So during the extreme happiness or extreme fear or pain, you naturally enter that state. You have to focus on that extreme pain and extreme pleasure. So if you experience an extreme pleasure, whatever that pleasure may be, extreme pleasure, you accept it to be extreme. If you focus on that, then what happens? The Vedanta and the Shastra says Bhairava is the greatest happiness, the bliss, the absolute bliss is Bhairava, nothing else. Now, if you experience some bliss, happiness, which you accept as bliss, then you will be wondering, if Bhairava is greater than this, how will that be? So there is naturally a viveka. If you experience happiness, then to gain that bliss, there is a viveka. Okay, there is a discrimination. Now, if you are experiencing extreme pain, then, oh, this is terrible. The samsara is too much. I want to get rid of this samsara. There is a dispassion, vairagya. Okay, so that is why extremities are good also. Now, when you are experiencing the extreme pain or extreme pleasure, let me put it in this simple way. When you are, what happened? You were like, I was just trying to shock you and you were like, what happened? Or when you see something happy, suddenly you'll be, naturally there is a, and there is a stop of, there is a this, there is a obstacle for prana movement. That is what is this kumbhaka, akara kumbhaka. While you are in shock or while you are in surprise, whichever it is, or whichever. So the expression may differ externally, but the experience internally is the same. There is a kumbhaka. Your prana stops. Prana apana movement stops. There is a kumbhaka. Absence of prana apana movement. So when you japataha, when you focus on that point of time, hey Devi, the great Parameshvara manifests. Okay, that is the second meaning. First meaning is chanting the with kumbhaka. That is a stupid way of interpreting it. The second is okay. Third is abindumavisargaṃ. Bindu means seed. Seed means cause. Visarga, sarga means creation. Visarga means special creation, nice creation. Vishesha sarga means effect. Okay, do you understand? So, abindu means absence of cause. Avisarga means absence of effect. When there is absence of cause and absence of effect, that akara, that time the is the substratum, which is devoid of cause and effect, which is basically bhairava swarupa. Is bhairava. Because akara is sarva, from everything came into existence. Mean what can, this is not a inert character which from which everything comes into existence. It is from bhairava, which who is referred to with from him everything comes into existence. Okay, so then parameshvara jñānaugaḥ sahasā udeti he devi. That parameshvara, that jñānaugaḥ, that flow of knowledge naturally, sahasā, naturally manifests. Udeti manifests. That is the idea of this is a shambhopaya. Though some people, for the sake of seeing this this awe-stricken thing, this chakita mudra they call it. For this reason, they accept it as ānava upaya also, because you can practice that. You can naturally have that when you are happy or sad. You can you experience that, or you can imitate that. So you can imitate that. So that is why they want to put it as āna upaya. But in fact, all the three upayas which we saw, all the three dharanas which we saw are shambha upayas. Okay, we'll see this. Om purnamadah purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate purnasya purnamadaya purnameva avashishyate. Om shanti shanti shanti.